Okay guys, welcome back to the BJJ101 Story Podcast. This is episode 31 and we have two awesome guests. Alright, some of the boys that come and train here and help us with the coaching and stuff like that. We've got Cody Souilijaert, who is a green belt in Jiu-Jitsu now, and Kees, who is a yellow
black belt.
Yellow, black, very good. Guys, we'll take turns, okay, because we're going to go through like a pretty basic question, but I just want to I know that you started a long time ago. I remember even back when Lil was teaching, you were here before then, but we'll start with Cody. When did you kind of like start jiu-jitsu and what kind of got you involved? Like what happened? Did mum and dad just say, oh, we want you to go and train, or were you doing a bunch of sports? Like how did you get involved in Brazilian jiu-jitsu to start with? And how old were you at the time as well?
I think I started at 5 years old, and then I was playing rugby. I think I was playing soccer at the time, and then I switched to rugby, and I find like my parents started off me doing it, but then I had a lot of friends here, so I just kept doing it. I enjoyed it, and I find it helped a lot with other stuff. Like my rugby helps with like you're making friends like at school.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of social stuff as well.
Yeah.
And it's also like good, like you come home from school and like you don't want to do your homework straight away. Like you come to jiu-jitsu.
Nobody wants to do homework straight away.
Yeah, and then like you get to it's like clear your head, and then you get to go back home and like finish your stuff. So it was good.
Yeah, awesome. So okay, same question. Like when did you start? How did you get involved? What happened?
I started when I was like 8.5, 9 years old. I mainly started just because of like bullying at school and like all that stuff, and my uncle really wanted me to do it, and like, yeah, I just kept going with it.
Yeah, cool. So were you playing any other sports or anything else before that?
Like just soccer at school, but nothing really.
Okay, very good.
Cody, you were like you said 5, and I remember like you like tiny, right? And now you taller than Lucas, you know what I mean? One of the coaches here, like and you guys are coming to the adult classes. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but you're super tiny for a long time, right? Yeah. How did you find at the beginning, by being a smaller person, the jiu-jitsu was like you had to learn more, to be more technical, you know what I mean, to deal with how did you find at the beginning, or did you struggle at the first because you're like, oh my God, these guys are so much heavier, and then you had to explore and get to learn more the techniques? How did you feel about that?
Yeah, it was just like being a lot more technical, because you'd see like people that are bigger, like a lot older, that use a lot more pure strength, or like, but you have to use, if you're smaller, things like more technique, speed, more stamina, and that'd really help, especially like now in the adult class, a lot stronger, a lot like bigger, so you gotta have to really like focus on using technique and stuff that will work.
Good, yeah. And some of the beginners can be a bit like, oh, how come these young boys getting me now, I have to come back stronger, and they come again, huh?
So how long have you both been training now? I'll start with you, Cody. How long have you been training jiu-jitsu now, all up?
I think 8, 9 years.
Okay, yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And what about you, Kees?
Probably 6. Yeah.
6 years. All right. So, what do you think has been like the biggest impact on like your life that jiu-jitsu's kind of helped with or facilitated? What do you think?
I think it's just around other sports. Like a lot of people wouldn't have done martial arts before, especially jiu-jitsu. People do like karate, taekwondo, stuff like that. But jiu-jitsu is very different. It helps with like, especially with tackling and rugby, a lot of like on groundwork as well. So I find it helps with like your stamina, like especially confidence as well, just knowing what to do. Yeah.
So, but confidence in like that you can defend yourself. Or
yeah.
Like, okay. But you think one of the biggest impacts is that it's helped you with a lot of other sports and stuff because of the physical benefits.
Yeah.
Okay. And improving your confidence. What about you, Kees?
I think it really helped me with like my self-confidence, because I've always been like very like introverted and shy and not very social, but I get along with people.
Yeah.
And yeah, just I think it helped me a lot now that there's like stuff like vaping and all that. Like it helped me know what's right and what's wrong.
Okay.
Like tell the difference, and it's really helped.
To do with the thing about like knowing what's right from wrong, do you think that's like that because you're around like people of an older age group as well?
Yeah, and
you're not only around people that are the same age or younger.
Yeah, and they have like more experience, and they can tell you like what's happened in their life and how their life has like gone.
turned out based on what they chose. So you can draw from people, mentors maybe, you can use that word. There's a lot of people that can kind of mentor you a little bit better to make better decisions. Is that something you think you'd say? Or
Yeah.
Do you have an experience like that from the gym? You don't have to mention anyone's name, but do you have anybody that you've spoken to about these types of things before and been like, oh, that's interesting, they helped a lot with things that they shared?
It's like stuff to do with like bullying and it's
We had one that we had it about social media. Remember, we had the conversation at one point. I think that I've been in your position. Like
we all have, man.
We all have, right?
I was a very introverted, quiet kid as well. I was
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But so we've been on your side, like we were like your age, and I mean we come younger, and we have role models. And what you guys are saying is exactly what happened to us as well. And it's very good that we had role models that sometimes like we can ask things, you know, oh, this is happening to me, or I'm sad because this is happening, or someone tried to do this with me, what should I do? You know, like it's really good to count with other people, you know what I mean? Like we're here for that, you know what I mean? Like this is something that we happily to do with you guys, you know? So yeah, it's important to share that conversation as well, you know?
But it doesn't matter what age, like even now, you know what I mean? Even now, as you know, I'm 27 now, I talk to lots of guys at the gym that, you know, maybe they're psychologists and, oh, you know, I feel like this and this happened. And man, it's
True.
It doesn't matter what age. And now it's really important that you have somebody like that when you're younger, you know what I mean? Because I know a lot of people that I grew up with that didn't have anybody like that, and they ended up making really bad decisions that, you know, changed the outcome of their life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you don't have the same community of people to share with and learn from and have people to mentor you. So I agree with what you're saying. It is a very positive influence on a lot of people's lives to do jiu-jitsu and to be around, like you're saying, people that have been through life a lot longer, and you know they've made decisions, and you can listen to them and learn from them and all this stuff and share. And yeah, it's a very interesting sport in that way, because a lot of other sports, they don't really talk as much, or they don't share as much in terms of like people's perspective. What do you think, Cody? Have you experienced that type of thing yet? Because you guys are only just going into the adult class now.
Yeah.
But is that something maybe that the coaches have talked with you before about things, or?
I feel like it's because like a lot of the things that we do as kids, like you guys have done before.
Yeah.
So you guys like, no, don't do that, do this kind of thing. It's actually wrong with the adults.
Yeah.
It's like they give you like a lot of tips as well, because they've been through what you've done. Like they do, they've been a lot longer than you have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like
some of them you've been training way longer, man. You've been training 8-9 years, man. Even you, 6 years. So you've been training more than a lot of the adults in the beginners class.
How do you guys feel about this change? You know, like recently, we had a big influx of, you know, you guys kids, and then you senior kids. Like now, you guys move into the adult classes, right? Which is amazing. Like this for me is one of the most rewarding things. Like to be able to coach and have you guys from kids going all the way, you know, and now in the adult classes. How do you guys feel about this transition? Do you guys, because now you have other teenagers doing together with you guys, so it's a bit easier, right? But you guys are enjoying. Can you guys see how important it was for us to tell you things? Because once you go to the adults, it's a little bit different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it was like going to the adults class. There's a lot more. When you go to the kids class, there's a lot of repetition in the techniques and like a lot of the things you've done before. But going to the adult class, it's like a whole different perspective. There's lots of things like you never knew existed. So many like different ways to do jiu-jitsu. It's like it's a lot better. So I think it's very beneficial, especially the people. Adults are a lot wiser. They've like been around a lot longer. So yeah, it's good to talk to them and help them, let them help you.
And they treat you as well with the same level of respect and camaraderie, you know, and they, you know, there's a big level of bond that they share with you regardless your age, right? Which is very good about it as well too.
Yeah, that's something very unique to jiu-jitsu that you probably don't find in other sports. That you're on the same level in terms of like position, both students, but with somebody that's 30 years older than you, know what I mean? Yeah, it's nice.
How about yourself, Kees? What are you thinking about this transition for you right now?
I think it was great because
Because you keep asking me for like 3 months in a row. Can I train today? Can I train tonight on the adults? So how you doing now? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it's great because it really helped with technique, and as well as like helping coach, you can see a lot of different ways that people do stuff that you didn't see before because you can't really see it because you're just training. So.
Do you mean helping coaching with the kids? Is that what you mean? Okay.
Yeah, I think it just really helped with my technique, and especially if they're like a lot bigger and stronger. Like if you have technique, it's beneficial for you because you can just do techniques that will like stop them from using those advantages they might have on you. Yeah.
Yeah, of being bigger and stronger, absolutely. You can't muscle somebody that's bigger than you, can you? You know what I mean? So yeah, you have to rely on the techniques and the skills. So going back to something that you said, do you find that because there's a big transition of like difficulty in the techniques probably to the adult class, you find that you actually excited a little bit more about jiu-jitsu and learning more stuff?
Yeah.
Because you've been training for a long time in the juniors class, and you're probably somebody that was a little bit more advanced than a lot of the other kids. Because again, you've been doing it for 9 years almost, you know what I mean? That's like a lot of people, that's how long it takes them to get a black belt. So, you can see, and this happens with a lot of people that start really early on, is they start to get a little bit bored with, you know, it could be whatever they're doing, right? Because you're doing the same thing, it becomes boring and no one else is on the same level technically, so we have to repeat things all the time and that type of thing. So is that something that you've enjoyed, transitioning to the adult class?
Yeah, I feel like it's really helped, especially with like people like Kees who like also same position as you that come up, because like if it was just you with the other adults, you know, it'd be a bit scary, a bit like, you know, but if with like friends like Kees, you know, it helps a lot.
Absolutely. What do you think? How about that kind of change with the techniques, or has that been easy for you, Kees?
Well, I've always like tried to pay attention as much as I can. So, in terms of like the techniques, like there's a few different things that happen, but I just try to watch it as best as I can and try to replicate it as best as I can.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
But has it been exciting for you going into some of the adult classes and kind of learning new, more complex techniques, or doing like seminars you've done before as well? Has that been a little more exciting, learning more difficult or more complex positions? Or
Yeah, I think it's always exciting when you get to like
try something new.
Yeah, try something new and find out what else is out there, because like jiu-jitsu is like one of those things that's never ending.
Yeah.
Like there's no end to it really, because stuff just keeps on going.
Cool, man. Very good. That's very interesting. That's a good point too, though. Like, it can be very scary going and doing new stuff, like going to the adult classes by yourself. I remember when I started jiu-jitsu. Now, I didn't go by myself. I think I had an uncle that wanted to try as well. But I can imagine it's very scary, because I started when I was about your age now. I started when I was about 14. So same thing there now. There was no kids class when I started. So I went and trained with the adults straight away. I was a little bit heavier than you guys. I was probably about 80 kilos actually. So I was already really big. But I remember going there and it was a bit like, oh my God, what's going on? This is a bit weird. But how do you find you've been received in the adult class? Because I had a very, very good experience. Like everybody there was very, very friendly and very polite, and like did a really good job of trying to make me feel comfortable there when I went and started jiu-jitsu when I was in Adelaide. How did you guys feel going into the adult class with the other adults?
I think it was like they're very welcoming, very friendly. Like I've had some conversations with some of the adults. You know, they're very nice. They care about you.
Yeah.
You know, like if you need something, they always answer your questions. Yeah, like I had a good chat with Grant the other day.
Okay.
Yeah, all of them just nice. Yeah.
Awesome. What about you, Kees? How's that experience been for you, going into this new world of adult jiu-jitsu and big people and stuff? Okay.
I think it's always great to try out new stuff and listen to new people and their experiences, because it helps your growth, especially if like you're young. So I think it's really good, and like this is like one of the sports where you can't just blame other people.
That's very true, actually.
Because some people I know just blame their rugby team
Yeah.
and say, oh, they didn't pass the ball to me and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And they didn't do a good enough job. They didn't kick it far enough.
Yeah.
And they just go, oh, he's a bull hog. But it's like jiu-jitsu is one of the only things that you're the sole one to blame, because it's just you. It's not a whole team.
Yeah, for sure. That's very true about like individual sports, but jiu-jitsu even more, because sometimes you can blame your racket in tennis, sometimes you can blame this and blame that. Unfortunately, in jiu-jitsu, it's you and somebody else, and there's nothing else to blame. Yeah.
And that's
a very
good
point.
for life as well, because it teaches you to be accountable in life, you know,
Yeah.
to also understand, or sometimes, oh yeah, I made a mistake, and then that becomes easy to perhaps say sorry to someone. I'm so sorry, I made a mistake, just like you made a mistake in jiu-jitsu, you know, it was you, there wasn't the gi or the sweating hands.
Yeah.
Just one other question. You guys like have got a busy schedule. Obviously, you guys, train jiu-jitsu all the time. You're here at the gym all the time. You also do some other sports. Do you guys spend much time thinking about these types of things, or jiu-jitsu outside of jiu-jitsu?
A bit afterwards, like you before and after, you think about jiu-jitsu. You think about like your friends that go there, because like you think about, oh, I'm going there with Kees, or you made like good friends, good friendships, and I wouldn't have made like good friends with Kees if I didn't go to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But like mainly outside of school, like you gotta think about like your other sports. You gotta put that first.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But do you think about like some of the techniques and stuff like that sometimes, even though when you're not at jiu-jitsu, or not really? What do you think, Cody?
Sometimes like you think about, oh, I did this, and something just clicks. You think like, oh, I could have done that better, or even when you're training, like you do something, someone does something to you, especially in the adults class, because they know so much more. You say like, oh, how'd you do that, and then they explain it, and then like later on, like when you're not jiu-jitsu, you think, oh, how'd you do that, or like something just clicks, and you're like, oh, I could have done that instead of that, and I wouldn't have got submitted.
Okay, very good. What about you? How do you feel about that type of thing? Do you think about these types of things, or like the benefits of jiu-jitsu, or like some of the techniques outside of being at jiu-jitsu?
Well, for me, it's like constantly on my mind. Like I think about it at school. Sometimes,
obsessed about it, hey?
Yeah, sometimes like I fall asleep in class because I just think about it too much, and
you can't fall asleep in class, man. You got to do your schoolwork.
I know,
Yeah.
but it's always on my mind, and I try to train as much as I can.
Yeah.
Like I have siblings too, and I try to look after them as much as I can, and like fit other stuff in if it needs to be fitted. But jiu-jitsu is like the only thing I really focus on.
Okay, that's all right. That's a very like very driven kind of focused kind of pursuit. I think I'm very similar to that as well. Like I always kind of did one thing. There was a time where I was doing rugby and jiu-jitsu at the same time, but it's very difficult to kind of really throw yourself into many things all the time, unless you're doing them more like recreationally. But if you really want to do something seriously, and maybe you want to compete, or you want to become a coach, or you want to do these types of things, it is something that you have to really kind of like zone in on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's really hard to excel at something at the best of your ability.
Yeah.
If you have so many different things that you put like your time into as well. If you just get dialed into one thing and just focus on that, and you do the hard work, it will pay off soon.
Absolutely, man. That's a very good mindset. It's nice to hear. So let's talk about like managing time then. How do you guys go with managing everything? Because you guys are playing video games, hanging out with friends, doing schoolwork, going to jiu-jitsu, playing rugby, everything. How is that all going?
Yeah, well, like what my dad always says, it always feels like you have a very busy schedule, but if I'm not doing jiu-jitsu, like what am I doing? I'm at home, like laying in my bed, playing video games, like I could be here. So like spreading your schedule, if you're doing, like I always like to do at least one bit of exercise a day.
Okay.
Yeah, so like even if it's like training in the gym, or if it's like going on a run or going here, I always try like balance my schedule so I'm not just like sitting on my Xbox all day or something like that.
Is that something that your dad kind of pushed as well?
Because he's very like a physical person. Yeah. So he like helps with that a lot.
Do you have like weights or anything like that at home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that has a whole gym at home?
Okay. So you have like a home gym that
show
you
me
use
pictures
sometimes.
one time.
Oh yeah. How does that go? How's your workouts going?
Yeah, especially on the holidays, because like you don't have school, you like to use it.
Do you guys work out together? Like you
yeah.
and your dad? Okay, cool. That's a really cool kind of like family.
Yeah. It's something that like a lot of other kids don't get to ever
Yeah.
experience in their life, which
Yeah.
is really good.
It's very fortunate of you to have that experience. What about you, Case? How's that go with managing time and kind of fitting everything in, and or is it still all jiu-jitsu? Hey.
Well, like because I don't game at all really.
Yeah.
Like, because my parents have always been like, oh, it's not really something you should focus your time on, and
That's
I don't.
very true.
Yeah. And like even if I'm just like watching YouTube, my dad just goes, oh, if you're on that for 20 minutes, do like 20 sit-ups and then watch another 20 minutes.
That's a good
and then, so
system to have.
yeah, and he's very he used to be very physical too.
Yeah.
So he always goes, oh, don't eat crap food, don't eat processed food and all that.
Yeah.
Because he used to be really fit and all this, so he knows how to go about that.
Hey, I've seen you guys running up and down to Aldi every now and then, getting a box of Tim Tams and stuff. Hey, it's always alright to have a bit of a. But I like bad food, man. That's my problem. That's my big problem. I don't drink a lot. Don't do any of the other stuff that a lot of adults do. But I'll eat some bad food. Some burgers and fries.
I think that's good for me too, because I eat so much, and the only way I can really, get rid of all the sugar and that is if I train jiu-jitsu and I exercise, because then it's just going to pile on and gain weight and all that.
Absolutely. You got to work hard if you're going to eat like that, for sure. Can't have all the sugar all the time. Or you got to work out a lot. Hey? Isn't it?
That's what it's like. If you eat a lot or like you don't eat well, you have to balance it. You have to do more exercise, more something to maintain your body.
Absolutely. Do you lift weights and stuff now as well, or what do you been doing?
Yeah, I've been trying to fit it into my
Schedule,
because I do too much jiu-jitsu, and I've just been trying to find time whenever I can to,
And you have some equipment and stuff at
yeah,
home as well, don't you?
because my dad kept most of his stuff from back when he was training and doing weights and all that.
Oh, awesome. Very good. That's cool, though. That's pretty interesting. Like, both of you have got, like, a pretty strong, like, male influence in your lives, you know what I mean? Your dad, and they're doing a really good job of kind of, like, just showing you the way, and, like, you're talking about the stuff with jiu-jitsu as well. I think both of your dads have been doing a really good job of kind of, like, guiding you and saying, you know what, alright, you can't eat the bad food all the time. You're learning the consequences and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really cool thing for you guys to talk about, because I don't know if you guys are aware, but a lot of kids that you're probably friends with, like, they might not have both parents at home and that type of thing. And I was like that when I was younger. So I just grew up with my mum. So for me, a lot of the people that I met at jiu-jitsu, like you guys are talking about, like the coaches, they were the ones that kind of gave me all this type of guidance and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So for me, jiu-jitsu has had a massive impact on my life. It kept me away from doing bad things like you talked about with some of my other people that I knew and the friends I had when I was younger. And it also kind of gave me an opportunity to focus on being a bit more serious with sports and being a bit more professional, and you have to work out and you got to go and do exercise and things like that. Now I also had rugby as well, and I had some people in that area as well that were kind of guiding as well. But yeah, it's an interesting kind of thing for you guys to talk about. It's actually pretty cool listening to you guys talk. You guys are not kids anymore, are you? You guys are kind of turning into little men, which is really cool to notice. And you guys actually have some pretty like traditional values, like strong core kind of views about, like, you got to be a good person and work hard and do all this stuff. So it's really interesting to talk about. Is that something that you guys always had from mum and dad, or dad and that type of thing, or do you think jiu-jitsu's helped with that as well?
Yeah, I think it's helped with that as well, because you find so many other people, like helping other people, especially if you know more. Like in the kids class, I did some coaching. You got to help people if they don't know what to do. Got to help them, especially kids, like new people. Like guiding them, because it can be scary. They've never done jiu-jitsu before, don't even know what it is. Help them out, like guide them in the right place.
What do you think, Case? Same idea, or?
Yeah, I think it's really good having great parents when you're growing up, because they teach you all their, like, what they've experienced and stuff. And like my dad my dad's pretty much taught me everything because he left home when he was like 15.
Okay.
And he like got his own job, paid for his own bills.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah. And he just left home when he was 15. And
So he went out and did everything himself and learned the hard way, and now he's kind of teaching you guys so you don't have to learn the hard way.
Yeah. And he always like whenever he sees me like trying like almost starting like a bad habit, like he pulls me up straight away and he tells me off, and I think that's great because then I don't develop that behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. That's a really good point, man. Like, we all have bad habits, but it's always good if you've got somebody to help you and to share with you because, again, it stops you from going down that path. But I would say that most people are not really good with that anymore. What do you guys think? Because I would say, like, a lot of people that don't have these types of role models, or they don't have coaches and, you know, people that are helping them or telling them off for doing the wrong thing. All right, guys, you know, oh, don't be mean to each other at jiu-jitsu. You're getting a bit too aggressive, blah, blah, blah. They're not very good at accepting like feedback anymore. Do you think like because of jiu-jitsu and because of your parents and stuff that kind of helps to make you like a much better person?
Yeah. Yeah, because like some kids at school, like they get someone to teach you, they like backchat straight away.
Yeah.
Just like, but I feel like jiu-jitsu you have to like accept a lot of, because like people like coaches, they know a lot more, they're trying to give you information. You have to take in that information, like even if they're like not like haven't got you, but they're trying to like, you've done something wrong and they like need to fix what you're doing.
Fix what you're doing with the techniques, and sometimes it's with like behavior, you know what I mean? They have to maintain order in the class, don't they? So you can't go and do what you want. We've had lots of different students, you know what I mean? You guys have been here with the class as well. We've had a lot of different students, some of them that were, you know, very disrespectful and would swear on the mat and things like that. We had people that would call out all the time, but we always try to kind of hold the same standard. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you think, like, same type of thing, do you think because it's such a disciplinary, like, situation, you can't just get away with what you want, does that help with certain things in life? What do you guys think?
Like, just like jiu-jitsu, like, you just have to, like, be quiet, like, you have to, a lot of values like that, so, like, it helps in life, like, especially at school, just, like, staying quiet, like, doing your work, not talking, not, like, being disruptive, having good behaviour. I feel like behaviour is a big one in jiu-jitsu. A lot of other sports don't do that. They don't like practice behaviour that well.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kees?
I think it's really great because like we've been doing that the thing where we talk about all the different values and all that stuff, and it really
start that up again a little bit more.
It really helps because like maybe there's some kids that go to school and they're disruptive and all that. I never really had that problem because I just put my head down and worked because I hate homework.
Yeah.
And it's,
you don't want to do it at home, you want to do it at school.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's great that we don't do as much, but we still try to teach those values as much as we can, and just tell like what's the best values and how you should use them.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point.
And a lot of times you don't have nowhere else to learn these values, you know, like you guys are very fortunate, you have family that like have good values and share with you guys. But sometimes you don't have, you know, school doesn't teach you, you know, forgiveness and be honest and have good character. You know, they don't have that anymore, you know, so jiu-jitsu is a great place to learn all that, you know.
Yeah, it's very hard. Like, I think with school, you do it a little bit. You do build like a relationship with the teachers and stuff like that, but the problem with most schools and most situations like that is you got like one teacher and they're a lot of the time accounting for like 100 students or 30-40 students at a time, and as you get older and you move through older grades, you got one teacher that teaches all the different kids in one subject, you know what I'm saying, for one grade, so that might be 150 people. And I think with jiu-jitsu or some other like individual sports, you can be a little bit more intimate with the coach because you're and what I mean by intimate is it's a little bit more personal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it might be the same student, there might be the same 20 students or 30 students with 3 coaches, but if they stay over time, you guys are building a relationship, whatever, over 9 years, like with Cody, or 6 years, like with you. So I think it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more extreme, and also, of course, like you said, there's a very traditional aspect to martial arts that comes from, you know, the Asian culture in a lot of martial arts, like Japan, where their whole culture is built on respect and built on the correct manner of presentation and how you behave and stuff like that. So I think that type of stuff is really important, because that's missing from a lot of Western society. Does that make sense? We live in Australia, we live in the US or whatever. We don't have those strong traditions. It's very multicultural. It's all a big mix of so many cultures, and they don't have that strong values and strong cultural background that a lot of other places have. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So martial arts is really interesting that way, because like you're saying, you might be playing rugby or tennis or whatever, but they don't have the same cultural, what's the word, like customs, right, of how you have to behave. You have to bow on the mat, you have to fix your gi every time you do something, everything. Oh, you know, oh, coach, blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? You're asked to go to the bathroom, come back, train with each other. You say thanks to each other after training. These are all really, they're pretty extreme customs, but you can understand why people do it, especially around a sport where you can hurt each other. And sometimes you guys get angry and stuff like that and annoyed with each other, but because you've trained in a way where you're focusing on the discipline and the customs in such a way, like, you guys still are very respectful to each other. Does that make sense?
That structure, that hierarchy, you're gonna use that later on also for work. You know, when you start working in a company or for yourself, there will be a procedures that you're gonna have to use, and all these values will be very important as well. Again, you know, would you guys prefer to train gi or no gi, and why? Kees, I'll start with you first.
Change it up.
I think gi, because there's more situations where you can use it outside of like jiu-jitsu for like self-defense, because there won't be really many people just walking around with their shirts off and stuff, so you can't really and it's like you can still use like shirts and pants and jumpers as grips as well, so I prefer to just train gi.
Okay. How about you, Cody?
I think no gi, like, it's because if you self-defense, like, no one's walking around outside with a gi on if they've never like done jiu-jitsu.
You guys definitely don't live on a Gold Coast, do you? Right, the beach, everyone like just speedos. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, it's like what was I gonna say?
No, you guys said the opposites. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think because if you learn more no-gi things, then you can use them more specifically on people. Like if someone's trying to hurt you, or like outside jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think there are more positions or like more techniques to do with a gi.
Yeah.
So that's why. Yeah, it's good to learn both. I think it's very important to know both aspects.
Yeah, I think you learn different skills from both. Like some of the things you have to do to escape in the gi is a lot harder, so you have to be more sharp with the technique. And with no gi, you have to be a little bit quicker and a little bit more opportunistic. So you have to see something and catch it while it's there. If you let it go too long, it'll disappear. But that's an interesting point. Like, you both said for self-defense, but one wants to do with the gi because there's more jackets and things like that. That means you come from a cold place. Everyone's wearing lots of clothes. Maybe you come from a place that's hot and everyone's wearing speedos, like you might have said.
Bringing that up as well again, like, since you guys found that was very important, the self-defense, did you guys ever had to use jiu-jitsu outside of jiu-jitsu to defend yourselves?
No, not. Oh, like, not like, no one's ever like tried to like attack me, but like, you know, if you ever.
But like, even like a mate like try to grab you and do something, you're like, man, I don't want this guy grabbing me this way, and you kind of like had to stop him, so you had to use jiu-jitsu, not like extreme self-defense, but just to, you know, to actually like bring boundaries. Did you ever had to use that?
Yeah, like, yeah, especially in, like, on the rugby as well, like things things you learn in jiu-jitsu, like they can help you with like putting someone down the floor, but I've never been like attacked. Yeah.
But you found that the stuff that you learned in jiu-jitsu helped with some of the things you had to achieve in rugby, and taking someone down or moving them out of a ruck or maul or whatever. Okay, that's cool. What about you?
I haven't really had any really bad experiences, but I haven't gotten into any fights because I've made it's just a stupid thing to do to get into fights, because then all their friends will like try to find you after school and all that. Like I just try to keep away as much as I can.
True.
And
That's always the best.
Yeah.
Always the best. But sometimes someone might come from behind and get you on. You didn't even see what happened, you know, like and then luckily you have some jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean, that at least to get free from that situation, right? But I'm glad to hear that you guys didn't never had to use. That's good, you know, and that's good. And keep it. I agree with you guys. Always, if you can talk it out, the best talent you can have is the talent of talking and just de-escalate it, you know, and never get to a fight. Try to have it. If a guy want to beat, really, just leave, go somewhere else, you know.
So, Kees, have you used jiu-jitsu in other situations though? Not like self-defense situations, but like Cody was using for rugby and that type of thing. Have you used to do other things like that, or you just focus on jiu-jitsu? So it's just here in the gym mainly.
Probably just wrestling with my dad and my
brother.
Yeah.
Wrestling with your dad. How's that going?
Well, sometimes he like just tries to take me down.
He's too strong.
Yeah. So it's fun, because sometimes like we just wrestle on the sofa for like an hour or something.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really work because he's so much bigger and he can just trip me over like it's nothing. But yeah.
Oh, one day, man. One day, keep training, man. You're gonna get so good that it doesn't matter how big they are, isn't it?
Guys, look, I want to say one thing. Like, we are super proud of you guys. Okay, like we were very thankful for you too. Like, you two had amazing. You guys gave a lot of contribution, like teaching, helping teaching. I know this is also was a great opportunity for you guys, and as you guys already mentioned, that you guys got a lot of growth out of this, you know. You got more confident, you learn more jiu-jitsu, you understand that you can help more people as well, be more giving, learn nice value. So, but also you guys did an awesome contribution. You guys are always on time. You guys, when you come to help teaching, you're always very nice with every kid that arrived through the door. Like, this is show very nice character of you two. So for us, this is one of the most important things. Like, we're super happy to have you guys now. Not only you two, but like you two are great examples going to the adult classes as well and doing really well. And we want to see you guys succeed as much as we can. So if you have any issues, any problems, someone that went too rough or someone that said something you didn't like, or some problem outside of here, you want to talk, you know, man, we have all the time. I have all the time for you guys, for you two, all right? Just talk to me. If you don't want to talk in front of people, we come up here, we sit down just like this. We don't have microphones, man, and then we talk, just like as friends, yeah? Really nice to have you guys here.
Yeah, that's really cool. But like, it's just been interesting to listen to you guys and how much you guys have kind of grown up. And man, you guys are, like I said before, you're kind of turning into little men now. And
little? Well, they're taller than me,
not so
man.
little men, not so little, but like
taller than me.
You know, they're still growing, they're still maturing, they're still understanding the world. But man, it's nice to listen to your guys' kind of perspective and attitude, and it's really cool to listen to you guys and the kind of like relationship you guys have with your dad, and you know, the relationship you guys have with jiu-jitsu and the community of the people that are here. It's really you know, it's really inspiring and cool to listen to, and hopefully anybody else or some of your friends or brothers and sisters or whatever, they have the same experience and they have the same kind of attitude. This is really really interesting and cool to listen to, you guys.
Well, actually, I want to bring another question. Like, you have other 3 siblings training jiu-jitsu as well. How you think jiu-jitsu was important for them? How do you see them like developing with jiu-jitsu in their lives, you know?
Well, I've noticed with like Jet and Jesse, like they've got like a lot more confident and they can talk to people. Because like when I was younger, like Jet always used to get me to talk to people whenever he had to, because he was like always shy, and I was too. But like being the oldest, I always have to like get myself into the situations I don't really want to be in, but are beneficial for me.
So now they can talk again by themselves, you know what I mean? And that's pretty interesting to know. Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Yeah. No, confidence is one of the main things that a lot of people talk about, even adults. Like, there's been so many adults that we've spoken to on this podcast and stuff like that, and you know, probably me to some extent too, you know what I mean? Like when I was a kid, I wasn't, like I said, I was very introverted. I wouldn't be able to, you know, go out and teach a class like I can now. That just happens over time, kind of naturally. So, yeah, it definitely exposes you to other people and talking to new people, and you build confidence that way, and then you also feel a bit more confident in your ability physically, you know, oh, well, I can protect myself. Yeah, it's a very interesting sport in that way.
Now that you guys are doing the adult classes and there is more techniques, what area of, have you ever thought about this? What area in your jiu-jitsu you think you can improve or you should look into improve more?
I think I'd like to improve the stand-up work, because
Okay.
every like fight or like outside of jiu-jitsu as well starts standing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or usually starts standing.
Mhm.
So I think it's also like starting off in jiu-jitsu, like the wrestle with an advantage, like putting them on their back, getting
So
the
I have
takedown.
good news for you, Cody. We're gonna put a nice top with like protection underneath the mats. It'd be awesome to fall.
We're going to
We're gonna
do a
train
whole
more.
block on
Yeah, we're gonna
takedowns
train
at some
more
point.
takedowns.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot more comfortable. You're gonna fall like, oh, did it fall? Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
That's okay.
the adult class we cover a little bit more stuff. Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
something else that's different in the adult class, and we started to do in the senior crocs as well, but is just kind of explain a little bit more how jiu-jitsu works, like the ideas as well, not just the techniques. But yeah, we'll definitely do some takedowns, so don't worry. All right, that'll happen.
How about you, Kees?
I think for me it's like my top game, because I really like guard and all the different types of guards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now you want to improve your top?
Yeah,
Start leaning on people and squashing them. Yeah?
passing, and because I've always gone for guard because I'm not really fast, but I have like long limbs, so I can
Yep.
control them
Yeah.
the way that I want to. Yeah.
Hold their legs.
Mhm.
Hold their legs. Wrap your legs on their neck. Good triangle. Long shin. Hey? Very good. Yeah, that's very interesting. No, this has been a cool, like a kind of interesting discussion. Yeah. So, yeah, like you guys are doing really well. Just keep coming, keep training. Is there something that you would say? Because there's a lot of new students that come in as well. Is there something that you would say to any of the kids that have come here before or want to do jiu-jitsu in the future? Is there something that you would say to them on like, you know, don't worry that it's, you know, I know it's uncomfortable, but what can you tell people that maybe haven't trained before to make it a little bit easier for them or give them a bit more confidence to come and train at a jiu-jitsu gym? What do you think?
I think you always just have to encourage them to like get out of their comfort space and comfort zone, and you know, try different things out.
Take a risk.
Yeah, and like after class and stuff, be like, oh, you did great, I want to see you come next time, and stuff like that, to really encourage them to do more and, you know, step outside their comfort zone. And
Okay. Is there something that they could do though? Is there like a strategy they might be able to use to make themselves like just trick themselves into getting here? What do you think?
just probably try to make friends, because I think whenever you have friends, like especially in jiu-jitsu, like me and Cody like text each other sometimes, like, are you training?
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, I'm
That's
training.
fun.
I'll see you
Eduardo
there.
has some stories like that as well.
Yeah, I had many stories. I had a guy that lives in my building, and then he wanted me to like, I was going, I'm not going tonight. It's like, no, I'm here. I'm downstairs. You coming? You know, like there's no way out. I can't say no. He was already
Yeah.
drove all the way to my, you know, just already waiting for me, and I have to go. It's good to push each other, you know. Oh, let's go today. Oh, let's go open mat. You know, it's always good, right?
What about you, Cody? What do you think?
I just say like just keep coming, because like a lot of new kids, like they do it and they say like, oh, I don't really like the first lesson, they just like they don't do try again.
Yeah.
I say like keep coming, especially like me and Cass, like older people, we get put with like new people, so I say if you're rolling and like they don't know what to do, like you help them. So like in this position you could try this. I think like just really helping them and like showing them what to do.
Kind of like the adults when you went into the adult
Yeah.
class, yeah?
I think
And
that's,
helping you and trying to make you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But what if they're kind of like worried about starting? What's like a trick they can use or something like that to try and just get them here, get themselves here?
I think, because what I've always said, a lot of people, they don't want to do like go to the gym, do exercise, like, oh, I don't feel like it today, I'm just gonna rest. But But like I always say, you go there, you finish, and you always feel better afterwards.
That's very true.
Yeah.
It happened to me this morning.
Just turn
It
up.
happened to me every day. Every
I don't want
day.
to train.
I don't want to do this. I'm tired. And when you finish, like, oh, I'm so glad I've done it. You felt mentally better, you know.
Sometimes they just have to turn up. That's always the hardest part. That's like what a lot of people say. So like, even if you don't want to go, just go there and then say, I'm gonna do 3 push-ups. I'm gonna do 1 roll. I'm just gonna do 1 roll. And then you do 1 roll and you end up doing 5 rolls.
Start feeling good. Go, I'll do another one.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good trick that a lot of people kind of use a lot. Trick yourself into doing more work. Hey, have you guys used that before?
Not really, but I think with like my younger siblings, it's always good to bribe them a bit. Like, you can get chocolate afterwards and stuff like that, because sometimes they just wake up and they are not really in the best mood to train, but then whenever they hear like chocolate or treats, they like jump up and get in their gear.
Last week I never seen so many happy kids with Easter eggs that we
bunnies.
gave, huh?
Easter bunnies, yeah.
They rushing through the door. That was awesome.
What about you, Cody? Do you use that kind of trick a little bit with your own?
I feel like with schoolwork as well. Just like cause
I'll
like,
do 1 line of writing. Yeah.
Because I find like I'll do like if you do like 1 paragraph and then like it gets to 2, especially it's like leaving stuff to like the assignment before the night. It's true. It's feel like
procrastinating.
But like I feel like if I do it on the weekend and it's due on Wednesday, you know, like if I do half of it now, then not just leave it all until Wednesday.
And sometimes we stressed out and oh my god, I have to do so much, and then if you actually do it, sit and do it, like 10 minutes is done, you know what I mean, or 30 minutes is done, and then you don't have to stress anymore. It's all done, you know. You're doing this big thing, it's nothing.
That's definitely very true. Like a lot of the stress and like anxiety that a lot of people have is like because of their organization.
Procrastination.
Yeah, procrastination, but just not getting their life in order. Like if things aren't in order, if you're panicking because you can't find your gi because you're going to be late to jiu-jitsu, you're going to be stressed before you go to training. It's better if it's already in the right spot, it's already in your bag. So alright, it's half an hour before, just go there comfortable, nice, and go and train. So that's actually a very good point. You've got to organise yourself and prepare, and sometimes preparing is just like getting a little bit done before the date, isn't it? Or tricking yourself into getting to jiu-jitsu. Yeah, guys, you want to mention anything else or not?
No, look, I think it was a massive pleasure to have this conversation with you guys. Like Kent was saying, like it's amazing to see how you guys grown up now. We're having this conversation at a different level, and I'm pretty sure Anton think the same way as me. You can count with us. We have all the time for you guys. Anything, this door is always open, right?
Do you guys want to mention
Have a
anything before we finish? Is there anything that you guys want to say or last words?
Well, thank you for inviting me to the BJJ101 podcast.
That's alright, thanks for coming in, man. It was very interesting listening to you guys, and it's cool, like Eduardo said as well, and I already said a couple times, and it's really interesting listening, because man, you guys are completely, almost, you're adults now.
And you've been such a long time doing jiu-jitsu, so everything, a lot of things that you guys said here, like it's like we're like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah. What about you, Cody? Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, just thank you very much. A great pleasure to come here today.
I mean, thank you so much for coming on. You guys are awesome. Alright? Keep training, don't stop. You know what I mean? Because again, you're gonna get a girlfriend, you're gonna go to uni, something else is gonna happen, man. But jiu-jitsu, man, you should keep doing. It's like anything, like if you have a goal, if you have things that you want to achieve, man, you don't change for other people. You keep focused, and you know what? The people that are going to be right for you, or good people in your life, they're gonna do that with you, or they're gonna accept that you do that. You know what I mean?
Because it does make you feel better. It makes you clears your mind. That's very important as well. Like Cody said, it just clears your mind and makes everything better.
Helps everything. You know what I mean? Builds your character, like you guys have been talking about. You've got all these nice influences around. You know what I mean? The only time that you lose is when you quit or when you stop.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you train once a month or whatever. If you keep doing it, man, you're gonna maintain. You're gonna keep getting better and improving. Amen. That's it. Keep training. You guys are gonna be monsters later, and you are already monsters now, but even more when you guys are like 17, 18, 19, you're lifting with dad.
Getting someone's back like, oh no,
like that. That's right. All right, guys. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for the chat.